Alright YouTubers, I'm making this video because I know there's a lot of in-ground and above-ground sprinkler systems videos online on YouTube. Everybody has a lot of excellent information, different applications. I was able to piece together for what I'm setting up. I was able to piece together a lot of videos, but I still didn't have all the information I needed. I figured I'd make a video to show everybody what I'm doing, but maybe able to answer some questions that other people might have, like I had. So what I'd like to do initially is I'm installing a in-ground sprinkler system, but before I proceed with digging holes, digging trenches, I'd like to find out exactly where my sprinklers are going to be going. I have purchased a couple of these gear-driven, they're Orbit Voyager 2 gear-driven in-ground sprinklers. They're probably about $23 at Home Depot. They're not too expensive. You can get them cheaper at the Home Depot in the States, but they don't always have them in stock. They come in different sizes, and pretty much they all do the same thing. They water your grass. What I did was I have a couple of these above ground impact sprinklers. They weren't working properly. They don't shoot a stream of water too far. So what I did was I took the spike off the bottom of it. They come out with a spike. When you take the spike off, the spike has a 1/2-inch female end. What the above ground sprinkler has a 3/4 inch female end. So what I did was I purchased a riser, and what these risers do, what the purpose of it is, if your in-ground sprinkler sinks in low where it doesn't pop up far enough above the grass line, then you buy these risers and you just chop them off to however high you need them to rise up. Screw them in, and then they raise your sprinkler up. So I purchased these risers. This one in specific was 3/4 inch to 1/2 inch reducer. It has a nut on the bottom, so I put the 1/2 inch in the spike, the 3/4 inch went into the sprinkler, and I put Teflon tape in there. I wasn't sure if I'm supposed to, but I figure since this is my first time working with in-ground sprinkler system, it's not going to hurt anything. Plus it won't leak. These sprinklers were $23. They also come with a adjustment key, and they come with 10 nozzles. But the nozzle that was installed from the factory I found was the most efficient one that shot the furthest. With my water pressure, I can get about 20 to 22 feet in radius, and in diameter probably about 45 feet in max. They do claim that on a distance you can get 25 to 52 feet, but again, it all depends on how much water pressure you have. Now, going to rain barrels, I'm not sure what my pressure will be opposed to my tap water, but on my rain barrels I'll have a 5 gallon per minute pump set up to operate at a 12 volt. Now, to adjust these sprinklers, you have an arrow right here at the top. This arrow pretty much points. This arrow points in the direction where your nozzle is, so that's where it's going to score it. When you set these up, you can twist them by hand, and they'll click at the end where it's going. So you can see that the radius on this is very small. For where I'm putting it in the backyard right now, I don't need a huge radius. To set the nozzle, you would take the key. To set the distance of the nozzle, you take the key, you stick it in the hole, and you just start twisting on what your preference would be. If it's in the ground and you need to pull the sprinkler up to change the nozzle on it, you just stick your key into that hole upside down, you twist it, and then you pull it apart. You grip it firmly because it is spring loaded. The spring is pretty strong. When you take the key out, you'll have access to the nozzle. And to take the nozzle out, you just unscrew the screw all the way, but careful you don't screw it all the way because the thread will come loose, the screw will come loose out of the threads. But you just unscrew it so it gets released off the tip, and you just pop the tip out. And you pop a new tip back in, put the screw in. Now to adjust the distance, or not distance, to adjust your radius, you would set the, once you get the spike in, you set the arrow all the way to the right, so you turn it clockwise where it stops, and then turn it all the way to the other way, see how far it goes. That'll be your distance. But to adjust it, turn it back all the way to the right, stick your key into the plus minus hole, and you'll feel once it and your key will go in, and then you can start twisting back and forth. You twist it counterclockwise to decrease the radius, you twist it clockwise to increase the radius. Now I'm not going to twist this because it's already all set up for me. Now when we purchased this house, the previous homeowners never sodded the backyard, just partially back here. They never went all the way to the backyard, they only sodded the front and the side of the house over here. The dogs are already killing it. I have it blocked off just so the dogs don't get to where I'm getting the grass growing. I purchased this grass seed at a few bags of them over at Costco. They were the cheapest I found in Canada. They were about $49–50 per bag. I got a few of them, and I put about 2–3 bags down on the backyard. I got nice coverage on it, and then afterwards I went over with about 3 yards of topsoil, which gave me really good coverage, just so the birds don't get to it and it doesn't dry out during warm days before I can get this water going on it. So I have one of these Orbit Voyager 2s set up in the back corner over here. This will cover the fence line, and it'll hit that fence and go a little bit further over. I have an impact sprinkler right now in the middle of the yard. You can't see it. And this guy covers the rest of the area that the other two sprinklers don't cover. This really bald spot over here is where the previous owner had their play set with gravel. I moved the 3/4 inch beach stone over behind the shed. I figured it'd make a lot more sense over there. And then I have my other Voyager number 2 over here in this bottom corner. And as you can see, when you twist the top, the arrow's pointing to the gravel over there, and then when you twist it, it points to the fence line. I haven't hooked these up in together yet to see if they can be together on one zone with the water pressure I have off my hose. But what I have set up for the timer over here, it's an Orbit 4-zone timer. The best deal I got was at Lowe's. They do sell it at Home Depot for $99. Lowe's has it for $69. They come with two valves, 1 zone per valve. I needed a third one. I purchased a third one. At Home Depot they're $25, and at Lowe's they were $19 or $19.99. This timer is very easy to use. Right now it's set up to go off in 5 minutes, but it has rained today, so it's got a little bit of water. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a rain delay on it just by hitting plus. It asks 24 hours. I hit enter, and it's good to go. So it's not going to turn on for another full day. You can set with this. You can set 3 times during the day, whatever time you want. In the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. They're very easy to use. There's a lot of instructional videos on how to use them online, so I'm not even going to bother showing you. I have each sprinkler working off each of these valves. Like I said, I will be connecting 2 of them together to see if one of them can handle the pressure for both of my pop-ups. But just to show you how it looks like when it works. Let's turn on station 1. Enter for 4 minutes. Enter. Let's turn it on for a minute. Enter, and then a little thing will come on that we're turning on manually. That click was that the valve opened. It's turned on for a minute. I put it on station 2. Let's turn on station 1. Let's put it for a minute. Enter, and I'll show you the click. The click will mean that the valve is turned on. There we go. So it just pops up, and like I said earlier, it reaches about 20-25 feet in a non-windy condition. But it does the job for where it's sitting right now. You can also set these up. I'm going to cancel that. Put back my rain delay. You can also set these up so your zone 1 can run for 10 minutes if it's covering a small area. Your zone 2 can run for, I don't know, 20-30 minutes. You can set it up for longer as well. And your zone 3 can run on a complete different amount of time than the other 2 zones. So they each run for a separate amount of times, whatever you set them for. They will all click in one after another. It might take about 10-15 seconds once this one clicks off for this one to click on, but they'll click on 1, 2, 3, and then 4th. You had a 4th zone hooked up over here. Ultimately, I will have this running off my rain barrels. That will be set up over here in a corner. I have 5 in total right now, and I have 3 put out over here, but they'll be running off the rain barrels. The east trough coming down. It's going to be pouring right into the barrels, and then the overflow will go into my drain over here. It's a backyard drain. Once I trench it out, I will also have a box back here, one of those patio storage boxes that you usually keep like patio furniture, pillows in, or pool supplies or whatnot, toys for the kids. I'll have that. I'll put in a 12-volt Delavan pump with a battery, probably a solar panel as well. And then once I got all that set up, I'll trench it out. I'll have all the sprinklers set up by then on where I need what to go, and then I'll start trenching out. Probably rent a trencher from Home Depot and just lay those in-ground sprinkler lines. And you can get those cheap. I found them for 100 feet of them. You can get for $20. If you look around, shop around, you'll get them really inexpensive.